roughly 1990, I began to hear the first buzz about virtual reality, and I knew the minute I understood the concept, I knew in the same way that I knew when I heard about the first Mac and LSD and potassium sugar perchlorate rocket fuels that this was going to be the next great thing. And as a tool of art, as a tool for leading us beyond the notion that we are a hive society of advanced primates, because that's how we visually appear to the empirical point of view. That's an out of context description of what we are. It's like a schematic or an aerial map. What we really are is the community of mind, knitted together by codes and symbols, intuitions, aspirations, histories, hopes. The invisible world of the human experience is far more real to us than the visible world, which is little more than a kind of screen or stage upon which we move. The purpose of VR is to show us aspects of reality that are not artificial, but that are fields of data not ordinarily coordinated by ordinary perception. Mathematics, which has been a high priesthood of arcane formulae and special signifying languages, is giving way to visual understanding. If you talk to someone about a 7 or 8 dimensional process, most people completely blur out. If you show them an animation of an ongoing 8-dimensional process, everybody understands without a word being said exactly what is happening. So I see virtual reality as a way not of escaping any notion of empirical reality, but as a way of reportraying invisible levels of the given world that are very vital and important to us. How we see flows of energy, how we understand complex economies, how we understand the fractal hierarchies of nature. Everything is about to get very much more complicated, much larger. The number of choices are about to exponentially explode. In a sense, these technologies point us toward, if not literal godhood, then a kind of fictional godhood. We are all going to become the masters of the narrative in which we are embedded. Our separate stories are going to take on dimensions so multifarious that for all practical purposes we will each move into a cosmos of our own creation and control. It's in a way, all that is happening is that what is already co-present with three-dimensional reality is being literalized, but literalized in time scales that make the nature of the game apparent to all but the dullest among us. I mean, after all, we have always lived in virtual realities ever since we abandoned nomadism and defined a polis and a wilderness. And, when Hammurabi set up the first codes in Babylon, these were operating codes. These were constraints on the human system that did not fully implement its capabilities, but rather defined and limited it for purposes of implementing certain design goals. Well, now we've been in the birth canal of the design process for about 8,000 years now, and we can see light at the end of the tunnel. The French have a notion of forward escape. That means when the situation gets so crazy, then you just hit the accelerator and drive straight up the middle And that's the forward escape. And technology represents this for us. Our ideologies are probably lethal, obviously lethal, I would say. But they are, fortunately, a kind of chrysalis of ideological constraint that technology is in the process of dissolving. And, William Butler saw this in the 19th century. Teilhard de Chardin reached it in the 40s and the 50s. McLuhan expressly articulated this vision in the 50s and the 60s. This is really, as Ahab tells the crew in Moby Dick, this is what you've shipped for, mate. This was the plan. Plato said if God does not exist, man will create such a thing. And we are creating a simulacrum of our highest hopes. And the effort to define the actual delimiting architecture of our hope is an intellectual exercise that we have never previously submitted to. And what I mean by that is, when you can do anything, what do you do? We've always worked within the constraints of mortar, glass, steel, our economic scales, the physical scales. VR eliminates all of this. The difference between a 10-story building and a 100-story building in virtual reality is 1 0 in a line of code. Well, with that kind of freedom, the human imagination, which has been defined by limitation, the planet's surface, the needs and wishes of others, is going to unfold in these super spaces. And, it's a Gnostic epiphany. If you believe it, what it really comes down to in terms of the politics and psychology of it is a final resolution, to my mind, of the question, is man good? In other words, with all constraints removed, do we descend into a world of, Freudian nightmare and simulated sadomasochism, or do we express something which matter always mitigated against?